Welcome everyone to the Real Whovians cast, episode 453. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Chris. What's up, Chris?
Hey, what's going on?
I'd like to introduce Trey. How you doing, Trey?
Howdy, I am well. Thank you.
What's up, Bryan?
Hello.
Okay, so this is Trey's first Real Whovians cast. Welcome aboard.
Welcome to be here. I'm glad to be here. Excuse me.
Now, when did you start watching Doctor Who?
Oh goodness. See, the very first episode I remember that sticks in my mind was the number 4 Tom Baker to number 5 Peter Davison episode. So that was 1980 something. I'm 35.
Logopolis?
Yeah, was that it? Yeah. So I watched it from then, pretty much. You know, that back then it was coming on PBS. You know, here in the States. And I watched it clear through till Sylvester McCoy's last episode in 1989. Remember well in 1996 the BBC Fox and every other studio out there co-venture and whatnot, and then was really excited when in 2005 when it came back. So been watching ever since.
Now, who's your favorite Doctor now of the new since it restarted?
Of the new, I first of all, I like them all. I know a lot of people didn't like Christopher Eccleston, but I liked him for what he did.
Right.
It was disappointing that he didn't stick around for more, but he had his reasons, and that was fine.
Yeah.
I kind of am on the Tennant bus as far as, but now from Peter Capaldi's first episode, he shot equivalent to Tennant for me, and I feel like he'll actually. And I still love David Tennant, but what Capaldi does more so than Tennant Smith, definitely more so than Eccleston, is that he commands the screen just by being there. More than these other guys do. So I think he's quickly becoming my top new Who Doctor.
Yeah, I'm starting to like him a lot more each time I see him. Yeah. Chris, you want to ask any questions to Trey?
You have a favorite villain?
Do I have a favorite villain? What you mean, classic or new or both?
Classic and new.
Classic, I'd say the Ronnie. It really sticks up for me. New, let's see. It's kind of a cop out. I really did like John Sims, the Master. But
yeah, me too.
That's kind of like saying, Superman or Batman is your favorite, DC superhero. So besides that, shoot, you're making me think. I haven't really given much thought, because after that, the Weeping Angels was always up there, because I think, up until recently, because there had been some fairly frightening episodes. In this new series, or series 8 or whatever.
Yeah, miniseries with the Weeping Angels too has been terrible.
Yeah, but I would have to go. If I was saying prior to season 8, I would have said the Weeping Angels, just because they were. It was a fantastic idea. It was very unique, and it was really well done. So
now, would you if I could change things with the show, and we could have had another year with Matt Smith, I would have been one to want to see a follow-up to the Weeping Angels story with the Angels Take Manhattan, where he puts all his anger towards doing something with them. Do you agree? If Matt Smith had another season, would you do a follow-up Weeping Angel story?
Beyond what they already did in his first
in other words, a reaction to Angels Take Manhattan, where he has all that anger.
Okay, right. I don't know. It depends. I'd almost rather see that or listen to that. I think that would fit more nicely at this point, at least, into like a Big Finish production, and into an audio production rather than maybe on screen, unless they were to do another multiple Doctor thing and they kind of address that there. But I don't see them. I don't know. I would like to see that addressed. I'm just not sure as to the medium. I think I'd like to see that addressed.
When I say addressed, I don't mean that Amy and Rory are coming back.
Right. Just him.
That he just done that,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And also they mentioned too that River was the hunter of angels, which
Hmm.
you know, I didn't know that she does that in her spare time. So
Right. Right.
that would be interesting to see too.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see. Even dealing with them as the only thing though is Capaldi is. It's safe to say at this point, I think, just because I was having this discussion with a few folk a couple weeks ago, and Clara, it's safe to say, has been with the Doctor longer than any other companion because since like Matt Smith, and he was on. How long was he on Trenzalore for? Like a few hundred years. Well, he was there for 1,000. So in that whole time, she was his companion, and now with Capaldi, so she's been with him half his life,
right?
Because he's over 2,000 years. So having to deal with that, with the whole loss of Rory and Amy at this point, because it's 1,000 years later, I feel like has to have gotten over it.
The first thing he mentioned was Amy and his regeneration cycle.
That's true. I mean, like,
So,
how he wished. Yeah, maybe not. I mean, but how many hundreds of years have passed for him, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
But don't forget too, on Trenzalore, out of 1,000 years that he was there,
right,
he only saw Clara 2 days.
That's true.
So it's not really that she's been the longest companion. You know what I'm saying? But
right,
she has been in his time stream though. That's another issue too.
Yeah, sure.
Now I want to ask you, Bryan. I'll let you ask a question to Trey. Anything, Bryan.
Do you have a favorite classic Doctor?
Oh yeah, so I do. Tom Baker has always been my favorite, but beyond Tom Baker, I would rank them Tom Baker, Sylvester McCoy, and then right after Sylvester McCoy, just under him, I would put Peter Davison, because he's the one I kind of related to the most, actually, and he's the only one I've actually cosplayed.
Oh wow!
And I could actually.
That's right. You have it on your icon.
Right. And or I did. I think I changed it, but I did have it on my icon, and that's that wasn't my outfit. It was one of my best friend's outfit. He has 3. He has 5. He actually has 5, 6, and 7. So yeah, Davidson, second Baker, Colin Baker, and he has McCoy's outfits as well, and they were all handmade. They were all. He put them together piece by piece, got them from this guy in London who makes everything to order and gets everything exactly to spec. And even to the point where you say, okay, well, you want like the Davison outfit, which season do you want? Because the one I was wearing, if you look inside the collar is green, where there's the rest of it's like white, and then there's red and stuff. So at one point it changed and went from that to the inside collar actually being red, and then some other variations happening. So, I mean, he's that detailed with it. But yeah, so Peter Davison would be Baker, or rather Tom Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Peter Davison, and then Colin Baker was okay, but he's probably actually
least.
Yeah, my least. And then I would rank him from William Hartnell, skip over
Patrick Troughton.
Thank you, Patrick Troughton, and go to John Pertwee, and then Troughton, and then
Colin Baker would be the
Colin
last.
Colin Baker would be the last one. So
right.
Actually, let me because you know who I'm leaving out, who is a classic Doctor, is and I do this all the time, is Paul McGann.
Right.
And Paul McGann, it's weird. It's hard to place him because I really like Paul McGann.
Right.
His Doctor was actually one of the best things about that. Like, probably the worst thing. I take the whole. I'm human on my mother's side as tongue in cheek. He didn't mean it.
I don't think he did.
He was just saying it. But my least favorite thing about that TV movie was Eric Roberts. I mean, who in the right mind, decided to do that? I don't know. And that and kissing the companion.
Well, I'm not going to get into that because I'm going to be meeting possibly Eric Roberts in like a couple of weeks.
I like Eric Roberts. I like the stuff he's done in the 80s.
A movie in my mall, so it's going to be
interesting. Is he really?
To see it. Yeah, it's going to.
That's funny. It's not that I dislike Eric Roberts. I mean, I liked him for what he did in the 80s. I think he's kind of almost dated at this point, but I just choosing him to be the master, any American to be the master, that's not going to do a British accent or whatever, I think was a bad choice. So
he tried.
Yeah. No, he tried, well, good on him and everything, but yeah. So Paul McGann, I would kind of place him somewhere and just to do it in the middle. Because it's hard for me. He's definitely not at the bottom. I mean, I really like him, so he's in that top 5 too.
What's your opinion of the War Doctor, which he's not technically a doctor? So,
yeah,
are you happy with Moffat's little deciding to change that around?
I am only because Moffat needed something to kind of that was one of the the thing about Doctor Who overall is the ability has been the showrunner's ability to figure out a plot device to make something work. Okay.
Right.
So the best plot device ever created, I think, in fiction, like television fiction or movie fiction, is the regeneration. I mean, that it was brilliant. I mean,
right. You never saw the 8th Doctor regenerate into the 9th, so it was just
right. But what I'm getting at, like, James Bond. Okay, so James Bond, has the same issue where they replace the actor all the time. Well, because it's normal, they don't have he can't regenerate, so they just kind of ignore it. The fact that it's a different guy. And that's happened in other TV shows. It happened in, I think it was the original Captain America TV show that happened in the 60s. I think there were 3 people to play that character before there was a television show. I think it was Captain America. It may have been Flash. There was like a Flash TV show before the 80s Flash that they tried to do. Yeah, it was all terrible, but or before the 90s Flash rather.
John Wesley
anyway.
Shipp.
Yeah, John Wesley Shipp. He was the better one. It was just too kind of campy and dated, I think, at the time. Yeah. But I guess what I'm getting at though is that the regeneration, that plot device it was so brilliant and it worked out so well that now they can just replace the actor and it makes sense.
Right, it does.
So what they did with the War Doctor though, the reason I'm happy with it was because just the fact they did it, they threw in a plot twist, it makes you go, oh, wow. So, I mean, was it needed necessarily? No, but it kind of expanded. What I don't like about it is that, are we going to see any of this guy's adventures like in Big Finish? Have they done any Big Finish stuff yet?
No, they've done a book.
They have done a book? Okay.
One book, but they haven't done any Big Finish, no.
Because I just want to see them kind of expound. Yeah, I think they should expound on that character. I mean,
the only thing that's hard though is that he's technically not a doctor because he doesn't have companions. He's all about destroying, like Daleks and different things. So he's not solving problems. He's just destroying, like war.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Like so.
Right.
So it would be very hard to do a story.
But it's still him, though.
Yeah, but it would be very hard to do a story where he's being the doctor if he's not the doctor. He's got the heart of him, but he's just all about using his brain to figure out how to destroy these Dalek ships or these different things, and that's all he was doing. The war doctor.
Right. But do you think he was able to? That's the thing, because I felt like at the end of the 50th, he was able to redeem himself because he didn't.
I know he redeemed himself, but I don't accept him as, I understand he did that, but I don't accept him as a doctor. And also, too, it's funny how the 11th Doctor has a line about David Tennant, because of vanity, had kept his face and didn't regenerate. When he did the same thing, and Let's Kill Hitler. Like, he regenerated from River's regenerations, and he could have chosen a different face by taking advantage of that, but he didn't. So he did the exact thing that the 10th Doctor did.
Well, in a story, because I thought his regeneration ability was arrested by that poison.
No, but when River used hers.
Right.
He could have just changed.
Sure. I would say I figured that was more or less him just healing her or whatever.
I thought it was like
or her healing him. Excuse me.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was like I thought it's the same thing. Like she just healed him with her regeneration energy.
But you knew that wasn't Moffat's original plan, because in Nightmare and Silver, he goes to Mr. Clever and he's like, I could regenerate and wipe you out, and you could scan my brain to see if I'm telling the truth. And he's like, yes, you can.
Right.
And he had regeneration energy to give River and Angel's Tape in Hat.
Right. No, you're right. I brought that up earlier because before that we were discussing. There's a website if anybody wants to check it out. There's two. There's one that I have here. I'm in Portland, Oregon, and but the other one is the original one, and we're sort of a hub or an extension of this. It's called Crew, spelled Krew. I'm from New Orleans originally, and it's spelled like a Mardi Gras crew, Krewe space do who. I mean, crew of who. This was there. During in New Orleans, we have Mardi Gras, and there's different Mardi Gras parades that happen throughout the month of February, and one of them is called the Crew of Chewbacca. So it's a sci-fi parade that rolls.
Right.
And Crew to Who was started kind of as to be able to participate in the the Chewbacca's parade. And it's grown to a few thousand people now, and just look it up on Facebook. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're gonna check it out.
And we discuss things there a lot, and there's another site. There's another thing called CSI Trinsalore. So that was created because we were in anticipation of the Christmas special, and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, we were just discussing, and I. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you can finish off. Daniel's going to ask you a question after you.
Oh no, that's fine. We were just anticipating trying to discuss what's happening because he's had these regenerations. That how many does he have left? No, it seemed for a while there, like all throughout this new run from 2005, the number of regenerations isn't really addressed.
Right. Well, it is.
So it's almost you almost feel like they're
going
to
Jane Adventures.
Right. I know that.
But that could have not been a joke. It's like if Russell T Davies was stupid.
Right. With that, he had so many. Yeah. That he had so many hundreds or whatever.
Right. Daniel.
Right. So, but in the show itself, though, it was never really addressed. So you're wondering, okay.
Yeah, it's never been addressed, right? But they just addressed it. Where Peter Capaldi said he could be regenerating indefinitely.
Oh yeah. They're going to do that.
He just said that. He said that.
Now, well, that's yeah.
He said that in Killing the Moon, right? Killing the Moon.
Yeah, he's immortal.
Right. It was one of them. I remember because I think that goes to. Yeah, they did. Because what it is, and I think this has been addressed in the past in the classic series, that the Time Lords themselves have the ability to, like the 12 regenerations is something that was set on purpose by the Time.
And then once the Time War started,
so they're able to give more, take away, just like they did, and.
But like I said originally,
right.
When the Time War started, it was unlimited regenerations coming back over and over, dying new ways. So. That's what the lady Time Lords told Rassilon,
Oh, cool.
So, now Daniel, what did you want to ask Trey, our newest member?
Okay. Hi, Trey. I'm Dan. I forgot. I can't believe I forgot already.
Hi.
What I wanted to say. So, are you into?
Oh, it's okay.
You're into Star Trek too?
Yeah,
I can see all that stuff.
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh God.
I knew you were going to say that, which he'll be on our Star Trek.
I love Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Star Trek. That poster's from that terrible Into Darkness movie.
What?
Yeah, but I love Star Trek. Yeah, I do. I really like it.
You didn't like it either?
Into Darkness.
Wait, y'all don't like Star Trek?
Hold on. Let's not get into. You got to have a Doctor Who question.
Okay, we're crossing over here. Yeah.
All right.
They did cross over in the comics.
Do you think Matt Smith is coming back for the Christmas episode? I've heard that Matt Smith could come back for the Christmas episode. I mean, do you think so? Would you like that?
I hadn't thought about it. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I feel like it would be too soon.
I think he's
you know, I don't think I would like it because I would like to see a multiple Doctor episode. Do you think so for the 50th? I mean, for the Christmas special?
No, I think he had asked Moffat recently to bring him back for the 10th anniversary if they do it, which is technically January. They would film it and air it in March or April. So he could be coming back to film, but it might not necessarily be the Christmas.
Right.
He could be filming during Christmas.
Sure.
But it may not, because he's also got commitments with Pride and Prejudice and Zombies and Terminator 2 and 3.
Right.
But he could go his part.
He's in Terminator 2 and 3? I didn't know that. Yes. I knew Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
He is in Terminator 2 and 3. He could be filming his part Christmas time. Right. The 10th anniversary or Easter special, whatever they call you. But yeah, he has said that he will do everything he can to be in it.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I would like to see a multiple Doctor, but I would like to see a multiple Doctor episode. So if Eccleston's not going to come back, which for whatever reason he has a stick up his butt and he thinks he's too good for it.
There may be a different reason because of that. Because from what I understand, the only way he was going to come back was Moffat was going to make it that he killed the Time Lords, and the Time Lord, he said that his doctor didn't do that because he just regenerated and he looked at his face in the first John Rose episode.
Right. So continuity-wise, he went.
He didn't want to be the one that killed all the people, and then that was the end how they phased him out. Like in the 50s.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't have brought him back as to do that. Moffat just had a problem with the 8th Doctor doing it because he didn't want a doctor that they never really had control over writing-wise to be the one to do that in the Time Warp. So.
Right.
No, Joe?
Yeah.
Jacob wants to know if he can come in.
Well, we're almost done. We're gonna have to do it at another time because I only got a minute or so left, a couple minutes left. But we will do another one with that. Okay.
Okay.
Not this one, but Trey. Another question.
Yeah.
Have you ever went to conventions and stuff with Doctor Who?
No, I've been to conventions, but I haven't. I mean, I've just gone as a regular person. Right. Here in Portland, we have a couple of conventions. We have Rose City Comic Con, which is this is the 3rd year, I believe, and I went one day to it just to go. I won a table with my I have a fan club here that it still only has a Facebook presence, but I want to get it together. It's called the Timey-Wimey Society.
Oh, okay.
Which when I chose that name, I was surprised that it was not taken. But yeah, it's not taken. Which I like it because Timey-Wimey Society, it sounds kind of Victorian, which makes me think of...
Yeah, send me the link on Facebook.
Yeah, sure, I will. But anyway, so eventually I want to start, have a presence there with them and tabling, have a table and all that kind of stuff and have merchandise and everything and cosplay, all that kind of stuff. Right now, I have stuff a couple I have a couple Sonics. One's in a box put away, and I have the one Matt Smith Capaldi one. This one, but I don't have any actual outfits or anything. Just I haven't spent money on that stuff or whatever. But I mean, we also have.
You have a show, don't you? You have a podcast
I do.
Show. Why don't you give a couple of minutes to promote your show?
Okay, so it is. When I did it on the fly, doing it with people from the Crew to Who site and everything. It's called. I just picked a name because I couldn't think of anything, so I picked something. I went really cheesy with it and tongue in cheek. It's called Talk and Relevant Discussions, and I couldn't think of another word to replace space, so I just went with space. I hated to, but I couldn't think of a word to replace space. So it's basically it spells all TARDIS. And all it is, it's just us. It's a bit long. We need to scale it down. I need to start editing stuff and everything. But how I ended up finding you is because I was kind of looking. I was scrolling down because I had planned on doing the show, and then I was scrolling down just looking at stuff and whatnot. Not necessarily looking for something that was Doctor Who related. But then I saw the name of what's the name again? This again? It's the Real
Whovians Cast. Yeah.
Real Whovians. I was like, oh, cool. And I clicked on it and I listened and whatnot. And then that's when I contacted you. So, but yeah, it's called Talking Relevant Discussions in Space. I treat it as a talk back at first. And so we get into the latest episode and everything and really kind of try to break it down. My co-host is a guy named Paul Petacek, who's the founder of Crew to Who. Another guy that comes in is Martin Childs, who actually cosplays as the War Doctor.
Okay.
And Paul cosplays as number 4, as the Tom Baker Doctor. And between the three of us, and we let other people come in. I post the link and everything to cam up and whatnot.
Usually not working, or else I would definitely come in. But like, I work like so many hours, but.
So
on your show.
You're welcome to. And so it'd be basically we just banter about, theorize about like, who Missy is and all this stuff and go on. And then, I'm trying to set it up more as an actual, so it's getting people to join. A lot of people they watch it, but I can't get them to come on because I want people to come on, ask questions, whatever, but get more people watching too.
Right.
So, but what I'm getting to is that we do that, then we go and just discuss general stuff. So I want to segment it almost like an actual, show. And then like, have Paul, who has a lot more knowledge than I do, even about classic Who stuff. And so I talked to him about like, hey, pick an episode or an arc of episodes, like they did back then, and talk about like, what they were doing, the plot and the different devices they were using as far as plot devices and stuff like that, and really delve into it. And there's another gal that has it's called She Geeks blog. And she basically breaks down and reviews each new episode of Doctor Who. So I want to bring her on to do like a 10 minute thing with her blog, in conjunction with her blog, and share her thoughts and stuff like that.
We're definitely going to check it out.
Yeah. And I'd say if you want to check out a cool thing on YouTube, there's a guy, his name is Julian Bain, and he's going to come on. He's in LA, and when he's not busy, he wants to come on and hang out with us. But he's in LA, and he has a fan film. It's called Doctor Who Alternate Empire, and basically he crosses Doctor Who. His Doctor Who is not canonical, is not canon Doctor Who. It's like his own Doctor.
Right.
He doesn't use a British accent or anything. His companion, I forget her name, but his companion is Irish, actually.
Okay.
The actress is Irish, and I guess I forget her name, but he crosses it over with Star Wars. So that's the alternate empire, and it's really cool. I mean, it's low budget. It looks more like the traditional BBC stuff from classic, but it's still really well done. And he actually has some audio stuff too that he's done, some audio dramas and everything. But his name is.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, if you want to look him up, his name is Julian Bain. Julian B.
I'm going to close off with Chris, Bryan, and Daniel. I'm going to ask you something quick about the new series. Start off with Chris. If you want to ask him what his thoughts on Missy or something, whatever it is.
Yeah, actually, that's what I was going to ask. What's your theory on like who do you think Missy is, or what do you think she's doing?
Right. So originally, my theory was that she was the consciousness of the TARDIS. I guarantee you, at this point, she's not the Master. The reason being is because these names that they pick, the Doctor, the Master, they're very personal to them. So even though that the Time Lords have the ability to change sex, I don't think the Master would change his name to the Mistress just because he's a girl now. If you look at Star Wars, Jedi Masters, male and female, are still Jedi Masters. So I think he would still call himself the Master. So it's not Missy, isn't short for Mistress because she's the Master. I doubt that at this point. I did think she was the consciousness of the TARDIS, because whenever in a deep breath, when she said, when she's talking to the half-faced man, and she says, how do you like his new accent? I think I'll keep it. It made me think, okay, well, she has something to do with the Doctor. She's familiar with him. Who's the only person that has anything to do with the way he regenerates? I think the TARDIS has helped him in his regeneration.
You really think so?
I do. I think there's because it touches. Well, because it touches it does have consciousness. We know it's alive.
Well, and also, I've also heard that the TARDIS. I've also heard that the TARDIS helps the Doctor regenerate.
I think it helps him choose because he does it subconsciously. So she possibly, and I'm not saying this is definite, possibly helps him choose different things or whatever, helps direct that. At this point, I don't think that's the case, though, that Missy is the TARDIS consciousness, just because somebody from the production, I don't know if it's Moffat or who it is, but somebody from the production said in Doctor Who magazine that Missy is a new villain. So I don't know. There's this. What is it? Not is it MS3 or some? So it's like some organization that she's the head of.
3W or something like that.
Yeah, or 3W that they're going to be dealing with in this next episode and everything. So I don't know. I don't know who she is at this point. I know she's a new villain, but she's not the Master and she's not the consciousness of the TARDIS. Maybe she's the Lonnie.
You don't think the Time Lords chose his face to lure him to Gallifrey? Because maybe that's a hint where they are.
Wait, chose his face?
Cycle generations, they chose that face.
Yeah. Possibly. I mean, who knows? I don't know.
All right, Daniel, ask your question.
Yeah.
From Series 8.
Well, okay. I heard that the mistress said, like when she was looking at Clara, she said, "My Clara." Do you think this could be the Doctor? Or do you think this could be an alternate reality Doctor?
Right.
Because that could be true. I mean, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, there's some discussion about this too, and that's a good question because somebody said, well, maybe she's actually the Doctor, and Capaldi's Doctor is actually the Valiard, and that's a good point, but I don't know. For some reason, I doubt that, but she could be a future Doctor somehow, where she's really messed up. And he's become like really kind of, and he's like manipulating his own timeline, which is a big no-no. But that's what kind of leads me to think that's not necessarily the case because, I mean, he's not supposed to go back on his own timeline at all because that could screw a whole bunch of stuff up. So even if he is nuts, I think he still knows better than to do that, And the Doctor's always been a little nuts anyway, so.
I think now, when she said that line, Clara, my Clara, I thought she was being like, I'm really going to punish you now or something.
That's a good point.
I think she's behind the whole Danny Pink thing. I think that she placed Danny Pink in Clara's life to screw her up because she's not a fixed point. So in other words, that whole thing she saw the future of having kids with Danny Pink, now she'll take it away. Now she'll kill Danny Pink.
Yeah, possibly.
Destroy it. And the best way to try to defeat the Doctor is to his companions. Sure.
Absolutely. And there was. I was thinking Danny Pink because we were thinking that there was going to be a big, more so than there was, a big kind of blow up between Danny Pink and the Doctor. Like maybe when they got together, they all of a sudden would have recognized each other or something. And when what's his face Pink, Orson Pink said time travel runs in the family. I didn't take that immediately to think that was Clara's
like she's the mother.
Grandson or grandmother or whatever. I thought maybe he meant for a second. I thought that maybe Danny Pink could be the Master, but he didn't know he was a Master because he regenerated as a little kid and as a baby, just like River Song did, and wouldn't have any knowledge of who he actually was. Which would be
the Master already did that as Professor Yana. He was generating into a child and was left with the Bob Watch.
Well, that's the memories that he had. That didn't necessarily happen. That's what was in his head because he during the Time War, he ran and he purposely made himself forget so he can go and hide. So so I don't know. It'd be cool if Danny was a Master because that'd be an interesting dynamic. But I don't know. I do think that's a good point you make, though, with when she said, "Oh, Clara, my Clara," it was more of an exclamation rather than a term of endearment.
Like you and John, I'm going to destroy your life. Like that's the whole thing. Because you got to think about it. These villains could know that she is responsible for a lot of things in the universe. She's the reason why the Doctor has more regeneration. She's the reason why the Doctor saved Gallifrey. She's the reason why the Doctor erased himself from the universe. It's all because of her. Like, she gave him the suggestion with the Daleks. So what if they just start gunning for Clara?
Yeah, Clara's getting in more and more situations. It was interesting that the Doctor used the Dr. Clara, thing that made me immediately think of the Dr. Donna. But I think what the kind of nod is that with the Dr. Donna, they were linked in a way, because what was it? What did he say? She was They were linked in
a stream.
well, the Dr. Donna, they were linked in a way.
Oh,
She
yeah.
had some of the doctor in her because of whatever happened. It was a meta crisis. Thank you. And maybe this is something similar because of the whole splintering into his time stream thing. There, she's inevitably linked to him,
Right.
and so maybe she has a bit of the doctor in her somehow or some way. I don't know, but I think that like Donna didn't die, but like Donna, she's a big part of him. And if that's taken away from him, it's going to be like literally losing a piece of himself.
All right. Well, welcome aboard, Trey.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll probably see you on Everything Show. And do you like other shows like Walking Dead? You watch that?
I do. I need to catch up on Walking Dead. Actually, I catch it online when I can. But I'm catching up right now. Actually, I started watching. Finished. I made it halfway through 3, like when
Right.
3 had just finished.
Right.
So I need to catch up on 3 and all of 4.
And we'll probably talk about Star Trek too with you on the Everything Show.
Absolutely, great.
Cool.
All right.
Well, thank you for having me.
No problem, Trey. Anytime. Welcome aboard. And Chris, Bryan, Daniel, thank you guys, and hope everybody got to see Age of Ultron trailer, which was fantastic.
Yeah, it was good.
Indeed.
And stay tuned for Doctor Who on the weekends. 3 more episodes left, guys. So take care. Bye for now.